Hi everyone, well this is my unboxing for the Tim Holtz Glass Media Mat, which I've just received this morning. So very exciting. Just going to open up the packaging. There we go. And size-wise, I'm really happy with that size. It's perfect for my craft desk. And it's actually quite a large working surface there for the main surface, and then this is the surface that has the sort of removable craft mat with a shiny back, and then this side is the palette side with the white underneath so that you can see your colours and so on. So it's all one smooth piece of glass all the way along. And it is great because it has got inches and it also has centimetres, which is really fantastic as well for us metric users. So really happy with the look of it actually. I was wondering how it was going to go, and I also wanted to film it today because this is how I do my filming of my YouTube videos, and I was wondering how I was going to go with glare, but I think if I do have my phone as I have today on the tripod and on a slight angle, that I'm not going to get too much glare in there. You might be able to see my head in the shot but if I'm sitting down it'll probably be fine and you won't get too much of my sort of head in there while I'm crafting. But really looking forward to using it and doing a bit of experimenting today with it, which I might video and show you how I go. So I'm really pleased with it actually. It's a perfect size for me, and I think it'll help keep a clear surface because it comes off lifts up off the desk because of the feet underneath, so it stops things from, I guess, crowding onto your work surface. And I really like this separate section over here for doing all of your colouring and your inking up and your messy work. So yeah, really looking forward to having a go with it today, and I might pop some of the video on if I do any experiments with anything today on the Media Mat. So just having a little play now, and I grabbed some watercolour paper and I'm just going to do some ink smooshing, which I really love to do. It's one of my favourite techniques, and I just thought I would compare the glass to the craft mat piece that you're given. And I've just grabbed a hickory smoke, which is one of my new distress oxides, and also the seedless preserves, which is another distress oxide. And I'm just going to look at how they move on each of those two surfaces, the glass versus the matte. And on the glass they seem to actually blend together a lot more straight away compared to that craft matte piece. The ink beaded quite a bit more. So I think if you're looking for getting those spots of ink towards the end of this type of technique, which I really like to do, using that craft matte piece would be a really good idea. So I'm just going in again with a bit of the hickory smoke because I wanted a little bit more of the grey colour in. And I'm also heating directly on this craft mat, which is something I love about this because I have warped a couple of my other craft mats, my normal craft mats, because I've heated on them. So usually if I heat I have to move on to another surface or hold the paper up or whatever. So I was really liking the fact that I could just leave it where I was creating and heat it there, and it really didn't heat the glass up all that much. I found I could sort of put my hand on the glass almost straight after heating it. So I'm just going in with a bit more of the ink just to cover those pieces well. And definitely on the glass I noticed the ink moved around a lot better and it merged more, whereas on the craft mat the colours stayed a little more separate. So both surfaces are great depending on the effect or the look that you want. On the actual paper itself, it didn't look too different until I got towards the end, and I was using the craft mat piece to get the beaded sort of droplets of colour onto my piece, so that was the main difference. But yeah, love the fact that I could heat on the surface without worrying about it, and it was cool to the touch almost straight after, so that to me is fabulous. And I didn't have to move things around as much as what I usually do. I usually find I have to get a piece of acetate and put that on and then move that away and then move my piece of paper to heat it somewhere else. And so it was a lot more focused. My work area could be concentrated in the one place. It was actually really good. And here's the cleanup, really simple. I've just used a baby wipe there to go over all of the surfaces. And if you want to dry it off, you can do a paper towel after there like I have done. And it was so easy, it all just came off, and of course there was no staining, no marks. It was great. So here I'm just looking at making a card to match some tags that I've recently done. And I've just put the seedless preserves, and I've used the squares to actually get the ink in the place that I want on the card. So I've tipped the card over to see where it needs to go, and then I've placed the ink on there using the squares to sort of line it up around about. So I found that really good action. I hadn't thought of doing that before this, so that was really good. Of course, if you didn't want to waste all that ink, you just go in with another piece and perhaps do 2 background pieces at the same time. And again, I'm going in with the hickory smoke and just a little bit of water this time. I found that using less water got more of a splotchier effect on that glass piece. So yeah, it was really fun actually experimenting with the look that you can get from it. And again, really easy cleanup. This time I went for the matte because I wanted the grey splotches on top of that purple colour, and I just did a small bit of water spray on there and then went in with the splotches and got that splotchy look. And again, just heating straight on the mat. And so it was really, really just good experimenting with that today. So those are the pieces that I did. And also I'm finding that when I pull my stamp set out, I could just put it on that white section. And for my videos, I think this is going to be great because I usually have to get a piece of white paper and put it under the stamp set so you can see the stamp set. But now I'm just going to be able to pop it on that right side of the mat. You'll be able to see what stamp set I'm using. And it was really quite handy. So yeah, really enjoyed that part of it too. So here I'm just showing you then I've dried off that piece and I've actually covered it with a powder tool, and now I'm stamping in Versamark ink on that. I'm going to clear emboss it, and then I'm going to cut those flowers out. So this is a technique that I like to use for a lot of flowers. It gives a real mottly look to the petals of the flower, but I really like that. And yeah, again, just showing you how you can heat straight on the mat for your embossing and things as well, which was really good. So thanks so much for watching. If you've got a media mat, let me know what you think and the types of things that you've been doing on yours. I'll sure that I'll have other videos coming up soon. I'm going to use it now as my main surface, so it'll probably feature in a lot of my videos from here on in. Thanks for joining me, and there's a couple of videos you might like to catch of mine at the end, and I'll see you again next time.